Hey everyone, Mark Montgomery here with Great College Advice, and this video is the first in a series of examinations of the various prompts for the Coalition application. This is an application that's used by quite a few colleges and universities in the country, and a lot of students are using this to apply to a variety of schools, some of which use the application exclusively. So we need to go through these common application prompts one by one. And this is prompt number 1. Let's read it together, shall we? Tell a story from your life describing an experience that either demonstrates your character or has helped to shape it. So, let's return back to the basics of every successful college essay and think about those two elements that every essay should contain in some way, shape, or form. The first is a story. And fortunately, this prompt says tell a story. So that's easy. We know we're going to tell a story. We're going to have some anecdote in the essay that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has some action, and you, the student, are the protagonist of that story. The second thing is we have to think about that character that demonstrates or shapes your character. So what are we talking about there? That's a big word. That's a really fuzzy word. Do I have any character? Do I have a personality? Of course you do. Everyone has character and personality. What you need to do is you need to first sort of make a catalog, a list of the character traits that you think are strong in you, and because those are the ones you want to focus on, right? Those are the ones you want to share with your reader. You also may want to think about the character flaws. Because if we're talking about developing, sometimes thinking about the flaws, what is it that you're trying to do to get towards a character strength? Or sometimes in highlighting the flaws, that helps us to think about and identify the countervailing strength. So there are certain things, certain aspects to our personality that sometimes can be great strengths in how we present ourselves, and sometimes can be in certain circumstances can be kind of a weakness. Make a list. Figure out what kinds of character traits that you could portray in your essay that would help describe you to someone who has never met you before. And then you can think of the stories that match those traits or those characteristics. That's basically how I would begin with the brainstorming. And the third thing that's important in this prompt is this difference between shaping your character and demonstrating your character. Yes, we have things that are part of our character that are pretty much immutable, unchangeable, and those things exist. And sometimes we can find a story that proves that we have this character strength, right? So we're just showing the story that says, see, I am this. I am compassionate. I am courageous. I am curious. And here is a story that proves that to you, dear reader. But often we have traits that we're all working on, right? That we want to improve. And life is a never-ending process of self-improvement and understanding what our character strengths and sometimes our character weaknesses are. So we're working on them. So it is perfectly okay in this prompt or in this essay for this prompt to be thinking about your imperfections, right? You don't have to come across as a superhero in any college essay. In fact, I would say that especially for the more, the more sophisticated essays are the ones that actually have a sophisticated view of who you are as a person. And being able to say, yeah, I have these strengths. Yeah, I kind of have these weaknesses too. It's being able to share and appreciate that self-awareness and that self-understanding with an eye to how are you going to improve those things? How is your character developing? How is it being shaped? So this is the more sophisticated reflection. And remember, that's the second aspect of any solid essay, is to provide that reflection. And the deeper and the more nuanced you can go in that reflection about your own character, the better the essay is going to be. So again, to recap, you want a story that demonstrates a characteristic of your personality. You want to match those two together, and then you want to provide reflection on how those two things work together. What you learn from that story about yourself, how that story is a reflection of you. Give that deep analysis and your essay will be awesome. So that's prompt number 1. We'll see you on the next video.